What's up, traders? This is Trader Champ. So let's get started with the today's session. Right. So here I have picked up the all share price index. I have seen that some communities and also some social media networks are getting panicked, right? So they are publishing some nonsense clearly, right? So the question is the market is not healthy right now, or the market is looking for a downward momentum or a market crash, right? So this is the question that many social medias are raising right now, right? I have seen some couple of posts and also some public articles, right? So they are warning about a market crash or a sell-off period on the market, right? So let's get started with the basics, right? So it is very clear, when the market creates a buying opportunity, the buyers or the investors gets into the market, all right? So to be more realistic, if you are a buyer on some company, right, so as long as you see some profits, let's say you have invested around 100,000 on a company, right? So let's assume that this company, right, so you are investing around 100,000 on this company, all right? So you make a 10% profit, right? So for example, right, you invest 100,000 and then your return on investment will be a 10%, right? So after some period you decide to sell this with a profit, right? So at that moment you again sell off the shares back to the market, and then you liquidate the shares in return for money, right? So this is a perspective on the investor's side, right? When an investor starts collecting or starts buying shares from a company, and then that does not mean he would hold up the investments for a longer time, right? So at some point they will decide to liquidate their holdings and take out their money with a profit, right? So this is something, a very basic scenario on the market, right? So let's assume, right, so this is a company named CSC All Share, right? So assume that you have invested somewhere here, right? So you have invested around 100,000, which is holding up a price close to 8,500, right? So at the moment when the price hits 20,000, right, or maybe around 17,000, you will take your profit, right? So your take profit limit or the exit level could be here, or maybe here, or maybe here, right? So at a point when you see a collective investors take out their profits, then the market flips or change its direction or the character, right? So when more buyers are getting involved or collecting or buying more shares from the company, then the price will surely appreciate, right? So at the moment when they start to take profit from the company or the invested company, and then the price will drop, which means depreciate. Let's get started with the scratch. I have picked up a structure on the all share price index, right? So this is the structure, right? So if we move into the weekly time frame, we can see that the price has climbed up over a bullish channel, right? A bullish channel has been formed with these higher lows, right? After connecting these high lows, right? So these are the high lows that I have picked up, so that also created a trend line, right? And here we have a higher high, and then here we have another higher high, right? So these are connected with the high highs and the high lows, right? So here we have a gap in between the high that has formed here and also the upper boundary, right? So it is very clear the price is moving right inside the structure, and at some point the price has clearly showed up a breakout, right? So for the moment, let's delete all these drawings. I believe these highs and lows are clear, right? So here we see that the price has laddered up and then moved straight to the upside, right? So this means that this structure has got invalidated, but still that has happened due to the market volume, right? So more bullish market volume has been created, and that helped the price to breach above the upper boundary, which also has reacted as a resistance, right? So this resistance level has been breached and the price has climbed up to the upside, so that created a straight bullish momentum to the upside, right? So now when we move into the lower time frame, so for the moment let's pick up the daily time frame, right? So I will remove this as well, right? So when we connect the higher lows here on this short-term trend, right, not the major one, we have picked up this impulsive wave, right? So inside this bullish channel we can see that the price has created an impulse, right? So this is the first wave, and then the second wave, and here is the third wave, which is something a wider and a longer one, right? So that has been created and also got extended over the upper boundary that has formed on the bullish channel, right? So this is something extended over the upper boundary, right? This impulse, right? So we can see that under the lower time frames we have multiple impulses formed on this price trend, right? So at this point, after a sell-off or a correction, we have seen that the price has created a demand over here, and then it has shooted back up, right? And then it has created a pullback, and then again here we see another demand zone, and then another pullback, another pullback and a move to the upside, right? A continuation to the upside, right? So right now I have picked up this impulse, right? The major one right now we are seeing under the daily time frame, not the weekly time frame, right? Under the daily time frame. So I have picked up the price level where it created a demand zone back on the support, which has created under the weekly time frame and also the bullish channel, right? I hope the structure is clear to you now, right? So right now we are looking at the daily time frame, right? So as I have said, I have picked up this low and then this low, right? So that's why we see a trend line, right? So this is an ABC wave, right? So A, B, C, right? So the D is right now creating, or maybe it is not yet created under the daily time frame, right? So which is a bearish retracement that we are expecting to see, right? So the question is, as if the market is really looking for a correction or a sell-off right now on the market, right? So here the market has not yet confirmed that the price has created a sell-off or a reversal pattern under the daily time frame, as long as the daily trend line is still intact and also still valid at the moment, right? So the market has not yet confirmed a breakout, so this is the point where we will witness the price breakout on this trend line, right? So we have to wait for the price to drop further and then break through this daily trend line and then move to the downside, right? So this is where the bearish confirmation will be taken into the consideration under the daily time frame. So we have no valid confirmation of a bearish trend or a market correction or a retracement to happen in the near days, right? So it could be happening in the near weeks or months, but still we have no confirmation. A valid confirmation not yet has been received, right? So when we zoom out the structure or the chart that represents the price action on this all share price index, do you witness any bad market behavior or a price action right now, right? So as long as we have witnessed a market failure during the economic crisis, right, later then we have seen a very steady and a strong recovery that has taken under the CSE all share price index, right? So as long as this remains highly bullish, do you see that this tiny drop that has caused to create, or which has created some couple of bearish candles right here on top of the price level, right? So do you see that compared to all this bullish rally, this as a risk warning right now, right? So it is completely a bullshit, right? Because we have had a nice rally to the upside for a very long period, right? So let's see that here this low has been the lowest point, which is somewhere close to 6.7k, right? So this low has been the lowest point, and then it has achieved over 213% up to now, right? Up to this high that has formed under the all share price index, right? We have been running on a 230%, 13% gain from the lowest point that has been achieved close to 6.7k, right? So this is a very silly question and also a very silly concern to be worried, as long as we have just been on a 200 plus gains and people starts to worry over a 3% to 4% price drop. How do you feel it, right? There is a question. So this is why I always say that you should not follow up advisors or follow up charts or follow up social media updates as long as they are not professionally responsible for their updates or their charts they publish, right? I see that there is a lack of knowledge among the investors. They just blindly buy and sell stocks inside the CSE market, right? So this will create sharing these nonsense and stupid posts, right? So this will create a panic situation among the investors. And if you have a clear idea and a scope over the market behavior, and then you will be very clear about the market performance and also its future, right? Now let's see where we will see a risk warning of a market retracement or a market correction, right? So as we are on the 1 day time frame or the daily time frame, we have identified that we need a clear breakout on this daily trend line, right? The reason why we have picked up this low, right, this low and this low, and we have built, or the price has built, an ABC pattern, right? So this is the ABC pattern, right? Now we see tiny retracement, right? So this is not a huge one or a major retracement identified compared to the rally that we have seen so far, right? So at the moment, this is not yet a valid confirmation under the daily time frame, right? So let's move into a closer view on the price action. So let's take the 4-hour time frame, right? As we have picked up the daily time frame trend line, here we can identify another major trend line under the 4-hour time frame as well, right? So when we move closer into the price action, right, I'm just showing you guys that where to identify the risk factor on the CAC, as if you're expecting to see a retracement or a pullback on the market, right? So, and also this will help you guys to exit your holdings with a profit before the market goes for a major correction or retracement, right? So I'm not meaning that the market is looking for a bearish or retracement right now, as long as we have no valid confirmation identified, right? So it is obvious that any investor can exit as long as they see a profit or maybe a loss, right? So that's completely depending upon their justification factors, right? Under the 4-hour time frame, we can see that this trend identified under the 4-hour time frame, right after a retracement or a pullback, we see that this low has created and then we have a higher low, and then once we create or connect these lows, we have another trend line, right? So here the market has been moving to the downside, right? So we will wait further to identify as if the price is really looking for continuation on this bearish trend, right? So this is on the 4-hour time frame, right? So not on the weekly or the daily time frame, right? And still under the 4-hour time frame, we have no valid confirmation of a bearish breakout or retracement confirmation, right? So this is just a pullback, right? It could be something like this as well. So we have a pullback here and then a bounce back on the trend line, right? So the situation can be the same over here, as if the market is not really looking for a pullback, right? So we may see a reversal once again, and a trend can be created in order to continue its bullish rally, right? But still we have no valid confirmation of a breakout or a reversal pattern identified close to here. So we have to wait for the price to retest close to somewhere here, right? So with that price action, if the price confirms a breakout, and then we can expect the price will continue to move towards the daily trend line, right? So this is the daily trend line, right? This is the daily trend line, and this is the 4-hour trend line, right? So once if the price confirms a bearish breakout, and then we can expect a continuation towards the daily trend line, right? So as long as if the price confirms a 4-hour time frame breakout, and that does not mean a huge market crash can be expected, right? As long as the market or the price remains right above the daily time frame, right? And also it is very clear, right, the price has broken or breached to the upside by penetrating through the upper boundary over this bullish channel, right? In most cases, right, in most cases, when a bullish channel happens, right, let's say we have, sorry, right? So when we have a bullish channel formed, let's say we have a bearish trend and then we are seeing a reversal, and then the price tags in on the upper boundary, and then we are seeing a pullback, right? And then once again here under the lower boundary we see another reversal, and here we see a minor pullback and then a break to the upside, right? So it has to be reversing back on this leg, right? So on this bearish leg, but the price created a huge volume, buying sentiment or bullish sentiment on the market, so that created the price to break above the bullish channel, right? In most cases, right, I will pick up here, right? In most cases, when the price breaks above the upper boundary of the bullish channel, we may see a pullback towards the upper boundary formed and then a continuation to the upside, right? Now the market has flipped its resistance as a support, and then we are seeing a demand created over this upper boundary and then a continuation to the upside, right? In most cases, right? So it is not 100% guaranteed market condition, right? We have to validate the market structure and also the price action, but still this is something we mostly see when the price creates a penetration or a break through the upper boundary on a bullish channel, right? So the basic theory of a bullish channel is when the price creates a bullish channel, what we expect to see is a bearish breakout, right? So we will see a price action moving right inside this bullish channel, and at some point the market tries to change its character and then continue the bearish momentum, right? So here the basic theory on a bullish channel is to happen a bullish momentum inside the channel formed or within the upper and the lower boundary, and at some point the price will show up a bearish breakout and then it will continue to the downside, right? So this is where the market changes its character. So that's something we have discussed on the previous session, which has been published on yesterday, right? So this is where the market changes its character and then continues to the downside, right? So in some cases, mostly, right, when the volume builds steady and stronger on a bullish trend, and at a point where the price creates a penetration or a breakthrough above the upper boundary, we may see a little pullback in order to retest the upper boundary formed, and then the price will react over this as a support then, and then continue the rally to the upside, right? So this is how it will happen on the price action analysis, right? So the market right now is not something to be worried as long as it is on a very strong bullish momentum to the upside or a bullish trend. Even on the 4-hour time frame, we have not yet witnessed any breakout or a bearish confirmation, right? So we wait a little longer and then we watch the price closely, and then if the price confirms a bearish breakout on the 4-hour time frame, and there is a chance of seeing a continuation to the downside back towards the daily trend line formed, right? So that point, in case the price requires to retrace back towards the following daily time frame trend line identified, so we have a chance of seeing a structure that has been discussed here, right? So this is where we may see a pullback back towards the low or the upper boundary formed, right? So here we can see that this upper boundary on the bullish channel is where it has been acting as a resistance, and now we may see the price is reacting over this as a support, and then we may see a pullback, right? So this is not yet a confirmed situation, right? So we have to wait for the price action to move towards this level, and then we have to watch closely how the market will react over the price action and also the trend lines formed, right? So, and also if the price is not willing to hold up over this upper boundary as a support, we have a chance of seeing a continuation to the downside, right? So I'm not going to confuse you guys with overloaded market concepts, right? For the moment the market is very healthy, and also it remains under the bullish perspective and bullish conditions, right? So it has not yet met on any bearish conditions, right? So in any market, when some investor holds up an investment over a period and then get satisfied with his profits that is running on his portfolio, they can exit or withdraw their investments by liquidating their holdings, right? So it is an obvious theory. So no one is here to hold up their investments for ages. So I believe that this analysis will give you a better scope about the future of the CSE and also the current situation of the market, right? So there is no risk warning identified yet with the price action analysis that we have done so far, right? So I believe that this session will cover up the required info and the market nature. Let's meet up again on a new session. So until then, take care. Bye bye.